This subject keeps me up at night because I am so disturbed at the idea of not getting 120 hertz on the Pro iPhones this year, which may seem like a nitpick. But honestly, looking at how Apple has done things in the past, the 12 Pro, if it doesn't have 120 hertz, it's pretty much gonna flop, and I'll tell you why. Let's begin. Okay, maybe some people will get the 12 Pro Max just because that's the bigger one, so it's the biggest possible iPhone you can get, but I'm specifically referring to the 6.1-inch iPhone 12 Pro, because for the first time, we're rocking two new iPhones this year that also happen to have the exact same screen size and pretty close external dimensions, so one's going to be aluminum edges, one's going to be stainless steel, but both will be rocking 6.1-inch OLED displays, and because they're probably going with Pentile OLED displays this year, that means that both the $750 12 and the $1,000 12 Pro will have the exact same OLED display, the exact same resolution. Very little difference between the two. Maybe they'll do some dynamic range on the Pro or some contrast ratio that's slightly better on the Pro, but the OLED displays are one of the main selling points of going with an 11 Pro or 11 Pro Max right now. I mean, yes, you get some extra camera features, but Apple knows camera features alone, okay, are not enough to warrant that much higher a price tag. That's why when they added LiDAR and an ultra-wide camera to the iPad Pros, they stayed the exact same price, and that's why everyone started buying the refurbished 2018 iPad Pros, because they went, so they have the same display, right? So I can get the one from 2 years ago and it'll look the same. They know that's a huge selling point, especially with iPhones. Have you guys noticed that once Apple released the iPhone 11 series, they discontinued the XS and the XS Max? I wonder why they would do such a thing, because we get the ultra-wide camera, and we get night mode, and we get battery improvements on the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. Why not just continue to sell both so that you can still have the XS and XS Max, except maybe $100 cheaper for those who want the really nice OLED displays, but don't really care that much about the battery improvements or the camera upgrades? Well, it's simply because they know people would look at the front and think, I mean, this pretty much looks the same as that 11 Pro, which is $100 more, so I'll just get the cheaper XS. There's not enough differences between that phone and the new one, so they just simply replace the old XS and XS Max in the lineup with the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max, because the displays are not different enough to warrant an extra $100. Similarly, if the displays are identical between the 6.1-inch iPhone 12 and 6.1-inch 12 Pro, everyone's just gonna go for the far cheaper iPhone 12, because they're bringing OLED to the cheaper models this year, and I'm sorry, I just don't think that LiDAR, a telephoto lens, and stainless steel edges, you know, matte frosted glass on the back, that would not warrant an extra $250 from most people. Most would just go for the cheaper one, and then 12 Pro will become even more meaningless. The 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max already do not sell that well in comparison to the iPhone 11. Everyone goes with that thing, and it has, you know, a much more noticeably worse display than the 11. So the motivation for people spending that extra $300 to $250 right now already isn't that motivating, because only techies are going for the Pro series and, you know, people with cash to burn at a time like this. So that's why so many people just upgraded with the 11, because that was the new one and it looked pretty good. Now imagine what happens if the display on the Pro iPhone doesn't even have any advantages over the regular cheap iPhone. So yes, I'm very excited to see Max Weinbach and other analysts reporting that 120 hertz is coming to the Pro iPhones. It'll be available on, again, both the 6.1-inch model and the 6.7-inch model, but at the same time, you know, I'm also seeing people say Apple has the hardware included, but if they don't get the internals right, then they're not gonna do it. Like, there's still a lot of analysts saying that there's a chance it might not happen if they don't get the battery performance they want, which I'm making this video out of desperation. No, it's not because it's my job and I enjoy doing this. It's literally because I have a small sliver of hope that Apple is debating whether or not they want to activate 120 hertz or not right now, and they're gonna see this video and realize, this guy brings up some good points about our past, and if we don't turn on 120 hertz on the iPhones, for one, they're gonna be super dated compared to the competition. I mean, the Pixel 4 has a 90 hertz display. OnePlus has either 90 hertz or 120 hertz, both of which are under $1,000. Samsung adopted 120 hertz on the S20 lineup this year. They are going to be the most dated flagships on the block if they still keep around 60 hertz for another year. And also, Apple, if you're worried about battery performance at 120 hertz, I mean, obviously, you know, make make it like ProMotion on the iPad, so it can dynamically change depending on what you're doing on the iPhone. Variable refresh rate, yeah, that's assumed, we get that. But if you're worried about battery life, the battery on the 11 Pro Max is insanely good. I consider myself a fairly heavy user, and I still end the day with like 50% on this thing. And if you're worried about battery life not being up to par, you know, just make it like it is on the iPad Pro. You can turn off the ProMotion display if you want to, so give people the option, you know. If you want to prioritize battery life, yes, you can turn off 120 hertz. But for the people who aren't worried about their phone dying because the battery's already so good, let them enjoy the buttery smoothness that is ProMotion that we've enjoyed on the iPad Pros for the past 3 years now. Yes, next month will be the 3-year anniversary that iPad Pros have had 120 hertz displays, and yet still not on anything else Apple makes. So to keep up with market trends and other smartphones on the market adopting high refresh rate displays, plus people love it on the iPads, you're adopting this squared off edge design, right? Because so many people have been saying, you know, the new iPhone's gonna look like the new iPad Pros, which is good. Make everything like the new iPad Pros. I'm happy about that. But honestly, I don't even care that much about Lightning being on the new iPhones, you know? I just consider that a lost cause. I don't care if the notch doesn't shrink that much. I don't care if the cameras aren't that much better. I don't even care if they have 5G or not. I don't care if they have the A14 chip. Even if the A14 chip is not that fast, I don't really care because this is still plenty. But 120 hertz, I'm going to be immensely and deeply and personally insulted if they don't bring that to the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max. Obviously, the cheap phones for everyone, the regular iPhone 12s, you can keep 60 hertz on there. Not a problem at all. So I hope these leakers and analysts end up being correct, because if they don't do it, man, it's gonna be hard to get excited for this iPhone, and that means probably having to wait until 2021 of September before we actually get a buttery smooth display on an iPhone. I can't take it anymore. But anyway, do you guys think I'm overreacting on this subject? If you do, feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, and also don't actually do that because I know I'm right here. I'm absolutely not overreacting. This is completely justified given the competition, so don't do any of those things actually. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.